This is entry number 44 of Bill Adkin's life. And today we're going to do a little something different. Even though it's past Christmas and past New Year's, we're still singing Christmas songs.
Yeah.
And so Bill's going to play Silver Bells while I, Mary Kay Worth, sing it. And then he's going to tell stories about being a child, a youth, at the train station and also strawberries. So let's start with Silver Bells, Bill. Silver bells, silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring, soon it will be Christmas Day. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air, there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, greeting, smile, laughter, smile. And on every street corner you'll hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring, soon it will be Christmas Day. Soon it will be Christmas Day. And now, Bill, would you tell us some stories, please?
Well, let's go back 80 years when I was 12 years old. And my dad was always challenging me to do something, make money, sell, whatever. And he said, you know, Bill, at the train station, there's no newspapers, there's no gum, there's no nothing. And he said, how would you like to have a stand set up there so you can sell newspapers and gum? And I said, boy, that would be fun, Dad. Well, he says, you have to understand, you can't be gone too long. So understand that. And I said, okay, Dad, whatever you say. So he set up a little table and had put a sign up. I think Mother made the sign. Newspapers, like 15 cents, whatever it was, and gum, nickel or a dime. And she had a little plate where the gum was, and separate from the newspapers, of course. So, oh boy, I thought that was really neat. So I started in, and of course I met the first train, and then the second train I came back to have breakfast, and then as soon as I was done with breakfast, I came back, and for the third train, and one day my dad and I were talking, and I said, well, Dad, you know, I'm short of money. He said, what do you mean, Bill? I said, well, you know, I had so many packs of gum and I had so many newspapers. And when I added it all up, I was short about $1.50. He said, really? And I said, really? And of course he immediately thought, well, those dirty SOBs, they're sitting here cheating this kid. So he wasn't known that much by the train passengers, so he sat there reading the newspaper and watching very carefully. And a guy came in, paid for everything, sat down. Another guy came in, paid for the newspaper, but took a pack of gum. And another guy came in and didn't pay for the newspaper or the gum. So he let that go. And the next day, the same two people cheated. So he decided on a little strategy. And the next day, the one guy came in and he said, "I want $5 from you." "Why?" I said, "Because you've been cheating that kid and not paying for the newspaper." "Oh, no. He says, "I watched you for 3 days. Don't give me that. You give it to me now or you're not getting on the train." And the guy forked over $5. My dad had change, so he could give him the change for a 10 or a 20. And then the next guy came in and said the same thing. And the guy paid him. And he says, "Now, don't you ever think about stealing from this kid. How would you like to have your son get cheated like this?" You know? So everything was smooth. Well, as I had a project after school, between the sidewalk and the street is about 3 feet. And I asked my dad, I said, "Dad, do you think I could raise some strawberries here?" He said, "Absolutely." He said, "I'll get the shovel and you shovel as far as you want to go." So I shoveled almost all the way to our end of our property and raked it all out and then planted strawberries with his instructions, of course. And let them grow. And pretty soon they were ready to go. They were ripe. They were ready to be picked. And so Mother had some paper cups and plastic spoons. So she put, I would put strawberries in a paper cup and then she would pour milk on it. And she came over to the station and did this. And I don't know, I had about 4 or 5 of those set up. And the first day I sold them all real fast. And I was happy. And so my mother said, "Bill, just make as many as you want." So I said, "I'll do 10. And I did 10. And sucked them all up. So I decided that I should do 10 and then 5 until they get used to them, and then I'd do 10 more. And of course I knew I had enough strawberries, so I wasn't worried about that. And it was really neat. And of course by that time my dad would come there when I wasn't there. And there was no one cheated me on strawberries. And it wasn't much. I mean, my goodness sake, it was, you know, in those days, a nickel or a dime was a lot of money. And I just loved doing that. And I did it for the season and then only the newspapers and gum after that. And I did it for a year. And something else attracted me, and I said, "Dad, I'm gonna quit selling newspapers." He said, "Why don't you find a friend of yours who will do the same thing?" So I did. And Gerald Craig, a friend of mine, and Gerald came down and I worked with him a couple of days to let him understand what had to be done. But he was there all the time. He didn't go for breakfast or anything. He was there the whole time. So he had no problems with guys paying for stuff. And it was a fun time in my life, and it was a fun project, and I'll never forget it. Never forget it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Bill. We'll be back.